The vast emptiness of space stretched out before the alien scout ship, the Stargazer. Captain June stood on the bridge, his 4 eyes scanning the holographic displays that surrounded him. His blue skin shimmered under the soft lights of the command center. The ship hummed quietly as it moved through the outer reaches of the Zalturi Empire's territory. "Captain," called out Mina, the communications officer. Her voice was calm, but there was a hint of excitement in her antennae's subtle twitches. "We're picking up an unusual signal. It's huge." June's head snapped towards Mina. "Show me," he ordered, his voice deep and gravelly. A large hologram appeared in the center of the bridge. At first, it looked like a mess of data points and energy readings. But as the computer processed the information, a shape began to form. It was unlike anything Jun had ever seen before. "What in the name of the cosmic elders is that?" whispered Ta, the ship's engineer. His usually steady hands trembled as he adjusted his viewing lens. The object on the hologram was massive. It was easily 10 times the size of the Stargazer, maybe even larger. Its shape was long and sleek, with sharp angles and smooth curves. Strange protrusions jutted out from its sides, and what looked like massive energy cannons lined its hull. "It's a ship," Jun said, his voice filled with awe and a touch of fear. "A battleship, if I'm not mistaken." The bridge crew fell silent. In all their years of space exploration, they had never encountered a species with technology this advanced. The Zalturi prided themselves on being the most technologically advanced race in the known galaxy. But this ship put their entire fleet to shame. "Sir," said Juan, the navigation officer, "the object is changing course. It's heading straight for us." June felt a cold sweat break out on his skin. "Battle stations," he yelled. "Raise shields and prepare for—" "Wait," Mina interrupted. "We're receiving a transmission. Audio and visual." Jun hesitated for a moment, then nodded. "Put it on screen." The hologram flickered, and suddenly a face appeared. It was unlike any alien the crew had ever seen. The being had only 2 eyes, no antennae, and was covered in some kind of cloth material. Its skin was a pale color, and strange fur grew on top of its head. "Greetings," the alien said, its mouth moving in an odd way to form the words. "I am Captain Sung of the human spaceship Thunderbolt. We come in peace." The bridge of the Stargazer erupted in whispers and gasps. Humans. No one had ever heard of such a species. June stepped forward, trying to keep his voice steady. "I am Captain June of the Zalturi scout ship Stargazer. Your vessel is in our territory." Captain Sung's face showed an expression that June couldn't quite understand. Was it amusement? Apologetic? It was hard to read these strange aliens. "We apologize for the intrusion," Sung said. "We are on a mission of exploration and didn't realize we had crossed into claimed space. We'd be happy to explain our presence and share information, if you're willing." June looked around at his crew. Mina's antennae were twitching with excitement, Tata's eyes were wide with curiosity, and even the usually stoic Juan looked eager to learn more. "Very well," Jun said, making a decision. "We accept your offer of peaceful communication. However, I must warn you that any aggressive action will be met with the full force of the Zalturi Empire." Captain Sung smiled, showing a row of flat white teeth. "Understood, Captain Jun. We assure you, our intentions are purely peaceful. In fact, we'd like to invite a delegation from your ship to tour the Thunderbolt. We believe in open communication and friendship between species." June's 4 eyes blinked in rapid succession. This was unprecedented. The strange aliens were inviting them aboard their massive battleship. It could be a trap, but something in Captain Sung's demeanor made June want to trust him. We accept your invitation," Jun said, still somewhat in shock. As the communication ended, Jun turned to his crew. Their faces showed a mix of fear, excitement, and curiosity. They were about to make history, the first Zalturi to set foot on a human ship. the first to see up close the technology that had left them in awe. "Prepare a delegation," Jun ordered. "Minna, Tai, you're with me. Juan, you have the bridge. If anything goes wrong, you know what to do." As they prepared to board their shuttle, Jun couldn't help but feel a sense of wonder. The universe, it seemed, was far bigger and more diverse than they had ever imagined, and they were about to take their first step into a new era of galactic relations. Captain Jun's heart raced as the small shuttle approached the massive human battleship. The Thunderbolt loomed before them, its size becoming more impressive with each passing moment. Minna and Tai sat beside him, their eyes wide with wonder. It's beautiful," Minna whispered, her antennae twitching rapidly. Tai nodded in agreement, his engineer's mind already racing with questions about the ship's technology. "Look at those engines," he said. "I've never seen anything like them." As they neared the Thunderbolt, a large opening appeared in its side. It was a docking bay, big enough to fit several ships the size of the Stargazer. Jun carefully guided their shuttle inside, marveling at the smooth operation of the bay doors. Once inside, they saw rows of smaller ships, each one sleek and powerful looking. Humans in various colored uniforms moved about, some stopping to stare at the alien shuttle. Jun brought their craft to a gentle stop in an empty spot. "Remember," Jun said to his team, "we represent the entire Zalturi Empire. Be respectful, but stay alert." They stepped out of the shuttle, their four legs adjusting to the artificial gravity of the Thunderbolt. A group of humans approached, led by Captain Sung. Up close, the aliens could see the diversity in human appearances, different skin colors, heights, and facial features. "Welcome aboard the Thunderbolt," Captain Sung said, smiling warmly. "We're honored to have you here." Jun bowed slightly, a traditional Zalturi greeting. "The honor is ours, Captain Sung. Your ship is remarkable." Sung chuckled. "Thank you. We're quite proud of her. Shall we begin the tour?" As they walked through the ship, the Zalturi were overwhelmed by the sights and sounds. The corridors were wide and well lit, filled with humans going about their duties. Tez's eyes darted everywhere, taking in the advanced technology. They entered a large room filled with blinking lights and holographic displays. "This is our main engineering bay," Sung explained. Tai couldn't contain himself. "Fascinating. Your power systems, they're unlike anything I've ever seen. How do you manage the energy output?" A human engineer stepped forward. "We use a combination of fusion reactors and zero-point energy extraction," she said. "It allows us to power all systems efficiently." Tay's mouth fell open. Zero-point energy. The Zalturi had only theorized about such technology. These humans had mastered it. Next, they visited the ship's hydroponics bay. Lush plants grew in perfectly controlled environments, providing food and oxygen for the crew. Mina was particularly interested in this area. "Your agricultural techniques are impressive," she said. "Do you grow all your food on board?" "Most of it," Sung replied. "We can sustain the crew for years without resupply if necessary." As they continued the tour, Jun noticed something odd. Despite the clear military nature of the ship, there was a sense of comfort. Crew members smiled and joked with each other. There were recreational areas, art on the walls, and even small pets in some quarters. "Captain Sung," Jun said hesitantly, "I must admit, this is not what I expected from a battleship." Sung raised an eyebrow. "Oh, what did you expect?" "More severity, I suppose. Your ship is clearly powerful, yet your crew seems so at ease." Sung nodded thoughtfully. "Ah, I see. Well, Captain Jun, we believe that a happy crew is an effective crew. Yes, we're prepared for battle if necessary, but our primary mission is exploration and diplomacy." This concept was foreign to the Zalturi. Their military vessels were stark and utilitarian, focused solely on efficiency and combat readiness. As they approached the bridge, Jun felt a mix of emotions: awe at the humans' technological prowess, curiosity about their culture and history, And, if he was honest, a touch of fear. If these humans decided to be hostile, what chance would the Zalturi stand? The bridge doors slid open, revealing a bustling command center. Holographic displays showed star charts, ship status, and various data streams. The view screen at the front displayed a breathtaking view of space, with the stargazer visible in the distance. And this, Sung said with a hint of pride, is where we command the Thunderbolt. June looked around, trying to take it all in. It was then that he noticed something on one of the screens. It looked like, but no, it couldn't be. Captain Sung, Jun said slowly, that star chart. It shows territories far beyond what we've explored. How far have your people traveled? Sung smiled, a twinkle in his eye. Oh, Captain Jun, we've only just begun our journey. The galaxy is vast, and we humans, well, we're curious by nature. As Jun exchanged glances with Mina and Tai, he realized that this encounter was more than just a first contact. It was the beginning of a new era for the Zalturi, and perhaps for the entire galaxy. The humans, with their incredible technology and unique outlook, were going to change everything. And as Captain Sung began to explain their faster-than-light travel capabilities, Jun knew that the real adventure was only just beginning. As Captain Sung continued to explain the Thunderbolt's capabilities, the three Zalturi visitors found themselves struggling to process all the information. Jun, Mina, and Ta exchanged glances, their four eyes wide with a mix of awe and disbelief. Ta, the engineer, couldn't contain his curiosity any longer. Captain Sung, he said, his voice trembling slightly, you mentioned faster-than-light travel. How is this possible? We've been trying to achieve this for centuries. Sung smiled kindly. It's a technology we call the warp drive. Essentially, we create a bubble of space-time around our ship and move that bubble, rather than the ship itself. Tay's mouth fell open. His three-fingered hands shook as he tried to grasp the concept. But the energy requirements must be enormous. That's where our zero-point energy extraction comes in, Sung explained. It provides us with nearly limitless power. Meanwhile, Mina was captivated by the ship's communication systems. She watched as human crew members effortlessly communicated with other ships and even planetary bases light years away. Your communication technology is incredible, she said, her antennae twitching with excitement. Real-time communication across such vast distances. It's like magic to us. A human communications officer named Kim approached her. It's not magic, just science we've worked hard to develop. Would you like me to show you how it works? Mina nodded eagerly, and soon she was engrossed in a detailed explanation of subspace communications. As his crew members marveled at the human technology, Captain Jun found himself deep in thought. The implications of this encounter were staggering. The Zalturi had always seen themselves as the most advanced species in their part of the galaxy. But now, Captain Sung, Jun said, his voice serious, I must ask, what are your intentions in this part of space? Your technology far surpasses ours. If you wanted to, you could easily. He trailed off, not wanting to finish the thought. Sung's expression turned solemn. Conquer you. Sung finished for him. That's not our way, Captain Jun. Humanity has a complicated history. We've learned the hard way that conquest and domination lead only to suffering. Our mission is one of peaceful exploration and mutual cooperation. Jun felt a wave of relief wash over him, but also a twinge of skepticism. And we're just supposed to take your word for that. Sung nodded understandingly. I know it's a lot to take in. That's why we're here, talking to you, showing you our ship. We believe in transparency and building trust. As they continued the tour, Jun observed the human crew closely. He noticed how they interacted with each other, the easy smiles, the casual touches, the way they worked together seamlessly. It was so different from the rigid hierarchy of Zalturi society. They passed by what looked like a recreational area. Humans were engaged in various activities. Some were exercising, others were playing games, and a few were creating what appeared to be art. "You allow such activities on a military vessel?" Jun asked, surprised. Sung chuckled. "Of course. Our missions can last for years. We need to keep our crew healthy and happy. A stressed, bored crew is an ineffective one." This concept was foreign to the Zalturi, whose military followed strict routines with little room for recreation. Jun found himself wondering if perhaps there was something to learn from these humans. As they approached the end of the tour, Tai suddenly stopped in his tracks. They were passing by a large window that offered a view of the ship's massive engines. "By the cosmic elders," he whispered, "the scale of it all, it's overwhelming." Minna put a comforting hand on his shoulder. "It's a lot to take in, isn't it? Everything we thought we knew about the universe, it's all changing." Jun nodded in agreement. "Indeed. But perhaps that's not a bad thing. Think of all we could learn from these humans." As they made their way back to the shuttle bay, the three Zalturi were lost in thought. They had come aboard the Thunderbolt feeling cautious and a bit afraid. Now, they left with their minds buzzing with new ideas and possibilities. Jun turned to Captain Sung as they reached the shuttle. "Thank you for your hospitality, Captain. This visit has been enlightening." Sung smiled warmly. "It's been our pleasure. We hope this is just the beginning of a long and fruitful relationship between our peoples." As Jun, Minna, and Ta boarded their shuttle, they knew that nothing would ever be the same. The galaxy had suddenly become a much bigger, more exciting place, and the Zalturi were about to embark on an adventure beyond their wildest dreams. As the Zalturi shuttle docked back on their own ship, the Stargazer, Captain Jun, Mina, and Ta were greeted by their anxious crew. The air was thick with excitement and curiosity. "Well?" asked Juan, the navigation officer who had been left in charge. His antennae twitched nervously. "What was it like?" Jun took a deep breath. "It was beyond anything we could have imagined. Their technology, their culture, it's all so advanced, yet so different from ours." The crew gathered around, eager to hear more. Ta's eyes were still wide with wonder as he began to describe the human ship's incredible engineering. Minna chimed in about their communication systems, her words tumbling out in a rush of excitement. As they shared their experiences, a message came through from the Thunderbolt. Captain Sung was inviting a larger delegation from the Stargazer to come aboard for a formal diplomatic meeting. Jun felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. This was a huge step. He looked at his crew, seeing the same emotions reflected in their eyes. "We need to inform the High Council," he said. "This is too big for us to handle alone." While they waited for a response from their superiors, the humans sent over some information about Earth and human culture. The Zalturi crew pored over it, fascinated by images of Earth's diverse landscapes and the incredible variety of human cultures. "Look at this," Minna said, pointing to a section about human music. "They use sound for art and emotion. Can you imagine?" Tai was more interested in their scientific achievements. They've split the atom, explored quantum realms, and even manipulated genetics. It's incredible. Hours later, a response came from the Zalturi High Council. They were cautious but intrigued. They gave Jun permission to proceed with the diplomatic meeting, but warned him to be careful. The future of their species might depend on how this went. With nervous excitement, a larger group from the Stargazer boarded the shuttle. This time, they brought gifts, beautiful crystals from their homeworld and data crystals containing Zalturi art and music. As they approached the Thunderbolt, Jun noticed something different. The massive ship had changed its position slightly, and now the Stargazer was no longer in its weapon sights. It was a small gesture, but it spoke volumes about the humans' intentions. They were greeted in the shuttle bay by Captain Sung and a group of humans in formal attire. Jun was struck by the diversity of the human group, different heights, skin colors, and facial features, yet all clearly the same species. "Welcome back," Sung said warmly. "We're honored to host this historic meeting." The humans led them to a large room with a round table. The walls were adorned with images of different planets and star systems. June realized these must be places the humans had visited. As they sat down, a human woman introduced herself as Ambassador Lee. "We're excited to begin this dialogue between our peoples," she said with a smile. "We have so much to learn from each other." June nodded, feeling more at ease. "We feel the same, Ambassador. Though I must admit, we're still trying to understand how your people advanced so quickly. Our records show no sign of your species just a few centuries ago." Ambassador Lee's smile widened. "Ah, yes. Humans have a saying. Necessity is the mother of invention. Our history is filled with challenges that pushed us to innovate and grow." She went on to explain how humans had gone from their first powered flight to landing on their moon in just 66 years, how they had faced global challenges and emerged stronger, how their diversity, which once divided them, became their greatest strength. As the meeting progressed, June found himself captivated by the human story. They spoke of peace and cooperation, but their history was filled with conflict and struggle. Yet somehow, they had overcome it all to become this advanced, spacefaring civilization. "We don't claim to be perfect," Captain Sung added. "We've made many mistakes along the way, but we've learned from them, and we hope to share those lessons with you." Tai leaned forward, his curiosity getting the better of him. "But surely, with your advanced technology, you could easily conquer less developed worlds. Why choose peace?" The room fell silent for a moment. Then Ambassador Lee spoke, her voice soft but firm. "Because we know the cost of war. We've seen what happens when one group tries to dominate another. It never ends well. We believe that true strength comes from cooperation, from lifting each other up." As the meeting continued, Jun felt a shift in the room. The initial tension and caution were melting away, replaced by genuine interest and the beginnings of trust. They discussed potential areas of cooperation, scientific exchange, cultural sharing, and even joint exploration missions. By the time the meeting ended, Jun knew that the galaxy would never be the same. The Zalturi had just gained powerful new friends, and the possibilities seemed endless. As they prepared to leave, Captain Sung approached Jun. "This is just the beginning," he said, extending his hand in a human gesture of friendship. "Together, we can achieve great things." Jun looked at the offered hand for a moment, then reached out with his own. As their hands clasped, he felt a surge of hope for the future, a future where humans and Zalturi would explore the stars side by side. After the successful diplomatic meeting, Captain Sung suggested a more comprehensive tour of the Thunderbolt. This time, he introduced a new guide, Lieutenant Yuna, the ship's weapons officer. "Lieutenant Yuna will show you some of our more impressive systems," Sung said with a smile. "I think you'll find it enlightening." Jun and his team exchanged nervous glances. They were about to see the true power of this human battleship. Yuna led them through corridors they hadn't seen before. The walls here were thicker, and there were many security checkpoints. Finally, they'd reached a massive door. "This," Yuna said, her voice filled with pride, "is our main weapons control room." As the door slid open, the Zalturi gasped. The room was enormous, filled with glowing screens and holographic displays. At the center was a chair surrounded by control panels. "From here, we can control every weapon on the Thunderbolt," Yuna explained. "Let me show you a simulation." She tapped a few buttons, and suddenly the room transformed. They were surrounded by a 3D projection of space. In the distance, they could see an asteroid field. "Watch this," Yuna said. She pressed another button. A beam of light shot out from their virtual ship. When it hit an asteroid, the space rock exploded into dust. "That's our main particle cannon," Yuna said. "It can destroy a small moon if necessary." Tay's legs wobbled. "Incredible," he whispered. "The power output must be enormous." Yuna nodded. "It is, but we have even more powerful weapons. Observe." This time, she activated a different system. Dozens of small objects launched from the ship. They streaked towards the asteroid field, weaving between rocks with impossible agility. Smart missiles, Yuna explained. They can think for themselves, adapting to any situation. The missiles found their targets. In seconds, the entire asteroid field was gone. Mina's antennae drooped. With such power, you could conquer any world you wanted. Yuna's face turned serious. We could, but that's not our mission. These weapons are for defense, not conquest. We believe in peace through strength. Next, they visited the ship's shield control room. Yuna showed them how the Thunderbolt could withstand attacks that would destroy entire planets. Our shields can absorb almost any energy weapon, she said. And our hull is made of materials so strong, they don't exist naturally in the universe. As they walked, Jun noticed something odd. Despite the incredible weapons they'd seen, the human crew seemed relaxed. They joked and chatted as they worked, showing none of the tension Jun would expect on a Zalturi warship. Lieutenant, Jun said, your crew seems very at ease. Aren't they worried about the responsibility of controlling such power? Yuna smiled. They are responsible, Captain Jun. But they're also confident. We train hard and trust each other. Fear doesn't make a good soldier. Understanding and respect do. The tour continued to the engine room. Here, Tai was in heaven. The human engineers showed him the warp drive, explaining how they could bend space itself to travel faster than light. It's like folding a piece of paper, one engineer said. We bring the start and end points together, then step across. Tai's eyes were wide with wonder. But the energy required, it must be enormous. The engineer nodded. It is. That's why we have this. He led them to a sealed chamber. Inside was a swirling ball of energy, contained by powerful fields. A miniature star, the engineer said proudly. It powers our entire ship. Mina was fascinated by the ship's sensors and communication systems. They could detect the smallest space debris from light years away and communicate instantly across vast distances. We can see the composition of a planet's atmosphere from the other side of a solar system, a science officer explained. And our quantum entanglement communicators allow us to talk to Earth, no matter where we are in the galaxy. As the tour neared its end, the Zalturi were overwhelmed. The power and technology of the Thunderbolt were beyond anything they had imagined. Jun turned to Captain Sung, who had rejoined them. Captain, I must ask, with such incredible technology, why reach out to us? Surely we have nothing to offer you. Sung's face softened. Oh, but you do, Captain Jun. You have your perspective, your culture, your unique view of the universe. Those are priceless. We humans have learned that diversity is strength. The more different voices we have, the stronger we all become. As they prepared to return to their ship, Jun felt a mix of emotions. Awe at the humans' power, fear at what such power could do in the wrong hands. But mostly, he felt hope. Hope for a future where humans and Zalturi could work together, exploring the stars as friends. The galaxy was a much bigger place than they had ever imagined. And now, thanks to the humans, it was full of incredible possibilities. As the Zalturi delegation prepared to return to their ship, Captain Sung invited them to a final meeting in the Thunderbolt's conference room. The room was large and comfortable, with a big round table in the center. On the walls were pictures of beautiful planets and strange alien creatures. Before you go, Sung said, we'd like to share more about our history and our goals in space. We think it's important for you to understand who we are and why we're here. Jun and his team sat down, curious about what they would learn. Ambassador Lee stood up and touched a control panel. A big screen on the wall came to life, showing images of Earth. This is our homeworld, Lee said. Just a few hundred years ago, we were confined to this one planet. We fought wars, polluted our environment, and almost destroyed ourselves. The Zalturi watched in amazement as the images showed the rapid progress of human technology. They saw the first airplanes, then spaceships, then huge space stations. We learned from our mistakes, Lee continued. We realized that our differences were our strength, not our weakness. We united as one species and turned our energy to exploring space. Tad raised his hand. But how did you advance so quickly? It's unheard of. Sung smiled. We're curious by nature. When we face a problem, we don't stop until we solve it. And we're not afraid to imagine the impossible. The screen showed more images, humans working together, building huge projects, launching ships into space. We also learned that cooperation is more powerful than conflict. Lee added, when we meet new species, we don't see them as potential enemies or subjects to conquer. We see them as potential friends and partners. Mina's antennae twitched with excitement. Is that why you approached us peacefully, even though your ship is so powerful? Exactly. Sung nodded. We believe that every species has something unique to offer. Your perspective, your culture, your scientific knowledge. These are all valuable to us. June leaned forward, his 4 eyes focused intently on the humans. But surely not all your encounters have been peaceful. With your power, you must have faced threats. Lee's face grew serious. You're right, Captain June. We have faced dangers in our explorations. There are species out there who don't share our views on peaceful cooperation. The screen changed to show images of strange alien ships. Some looked aggressive, with weapons bristling from their hulls. We built ships like the Thunderbolt to protect ourselves and our allies, Sung explained. We don't seek war, but we're ready to defend ourselves and those who can't defend themselves. June nodded slowly, beginning to understand. The humans were powerful, yes, but they used their strength to protect and help others. But enough about the challenges, Lee said, her voice brightening. Let's talk about the wonderful things we've discovered in our travels. For the next hour, the humans shared stories of their adventures in space. They told of beautiful worlds with rings of ice, of alien civilizations with amazing art and music, of scientific discoveries that changed their understanding of the universe. The Zalturi were captivated. This was so different from their cautious exploration of nearby stars. The humans' enthusiasm and wonder were contagious. As the meeting neared its end, Sung stood up. We hope this has helped you understand us better, he said. We don't just want to show you our technology. We want to share our dreams and our vision for the future. June looked at his team. Tai was scribbling notes furiously, his mind buzzing with new ideas. Mana's eyes were shining with excitement at the thought of all the new cultures they could learn about. Captain Sung. Ambassador Lee, Jum said, standing as well. I think I speak for all of us when I say that this has been eye-opening. You've shown us a vision of the galaxy we never imagined. Lee smiled warmly. And this is just the beginning. We hope that the Zalturi will join us in this great adventure. Together, we can explore the wonders of the universe and face its challenges. As they prepared to leave, Jun felt a sense of excitement he hadn't felt in years. The galaxy was so much bigger, so much more wonderful than they had ever dreamed. And now, thanks to the humans, the Zalturi had a chance to be part of something truly amazing. They left the Thunderbolt not just with new knowledge, but with new hope. The future was bright, full of possibilities, and the Zalturi were ready to embrace it, side by side with their new human friends. As the Zalturi shuttle docked back on the Stargazer, Captain June, Mina, and Ta were quiet. Each was lost in thought, trying to process everything they had seen and learned on the human battleship Thunderbolt. The rest of the crew was waiting eagerly for news. As soon as the shuttle door opened, they were bombarded with questions. What was it like? Are the humans friendly? Is their ship really as powerful as it looks? Jun held up his hands, asking for quiet. Friends, he said, his voice serious, what we have seen today will change everything. The humans are incredible. Their technology, their ideas, their way of life. It's all beyond anything we imagined. Over the next few hours, June and his team shared everything they had learned. They told the crew about the Thunderbolt's amazing weapons and defenses. They described the humans' advanced science and their ability to travel faster than light. They explained the humans' philosophy of peace and cooperation. The crew listened in amazement. Some were excited, others were scared. But all of them understood that this was a turning point for the Zalturi. "What do we do now, Captain?" asked Juan, the navigation officer. June took a deep breath. "Now, we report to the High Council. They need to know everything." For the next 2 days, the Stargazer stayed close to the Thunderbolt. The two ships' crews continued to talk and share information. The humans were eager to learn about Zalturi culture and technology, even though it was less advanced than their own. Finally, a message came from the Zalturi homeworld. The High Council had made a decision. Jun gathered his crew. "The Council has decided to accept the humans' offer of friendship," he announced. "They want us to be the first Zalturi ship to join a human exploration mission." The crew erupted in cheers. This was an incredible opportunity. They would be the first Zalturi to venture far beyond their known space, to see wonders they had only dreamed of. Todd was especially excited. "Think of all we'll learn," he said, his eyes shining. "Their technology, their science, will advance our own knowledge by centuries." Minna nodded eagerly. "And all the new cultures we'll encounter. The art, the music, the stories. It's going to be amazing." Not everyone was completely happy, though. Some crew members were nervous about venturing so far from home. Others worried about the dangers they might face. June understood their concerns. "It's natural to be scared," he told them. "We're stepping into the unknown. But remember what the humans showed us. The galaxy is full of wonders, yes, but also full of dangers. By working together, we'll be safer and stronger." Over the next few days, the Stargazer prepared for its new mission. The humans helped them upgrade some of their systems. They installed new communications equipment so the Zalturi could stay in touch with home, no matter how far they traveled. On the day of departure, Captain Sun came aboard the Stargazer. He brought gifts. Data crystals full of human knowledge, art, and music. "Welcome to the galactic community," Sung said, smiling warmly. "We're honored to have the Zalturi as our partners in exploration." As the two ships prepared to leave, June looked out at the stars. They seemed brighter somehow, full of promise and possibility. "Juan," he said to his navigation officer, "set a course to adventure." Juan grinned, his antennae twitching with excitement. "Course set, Captain. The galaxy awaits." With a flash of light, the Thunderbolt engaged its warp drive. The Stargazer followed, its newly upgraded engines humming with power. Together, the human and Zalturi ships vanished into the depths of space. Back on the Zalturi homeworld, the news spread quickly. Their people looked to the sky with new eyes, wondering what marvels their explorers would discover. Schools began teaching about Earth and human culture. Scientists eagerly studied the data the humans had shared. A new age had begun for the Zalturi. An age of discovery, of friendship, of infinite possibilities. All because they had been brave enough to approach a strange ship, to take a chance on the unknown. As the Stargazer traveled further than any Zalturi ship had gone before, Jun thought about how it all started. With a chance encounter, with a moment of fear turned into an opportunity for growth. "When we first saw that human battleship," he mused, "we thought it might be the end of everything. Instead, it was just the beginning." And so, the great adventure began. Humans and Zalturi, side by side, ready to face whatever the vast, mysterious galaxy had in store for them.